Welcome, everybody, to my new series, Reviews with Batman. We're going to be talking about Spider-Man 2 and what I think overall of this game. We're going to be diving into graphics, performance, and just overall what I think of this game. Personally, it's going to be a scale out of 10, and we're also going to be talking to Lord X Law. So you're going to get his final impressions on this game. So hope you guys enjoy, and let's dive on in.
Baz, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
That's good. That's good. So, obviously, we're gonna be here. We're gonna be talking all things Spider-Man, all things Spider-Man
Of
2. We
course.
both already played it. We both have thoughts. I know we have a lot to talk about. This
We
might be a
do.
long episode. Are you ready
I
to
am
dive into this whole thing?
I'm 100% ready. Man, Spider-Man is my absolute favorite superhero of all time. So
Oh,
this is gonna be fun.
I know exactly what you mean. And we're both rocking the drip. Let me ask you to start off. We're not going to be talking about the games. To start off, I want to know who do you think currently is the best movie version of Spider-Man, the best actor to play him?
Everyone always asks me this question, and it's such a hard
Well,
question.
I know
Because
that's why we're gonna start out. We're just gonna go right into the shit.
all right, I'm gonna dive into the details though. I'm not just gonna say that one.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah. Go. Well, keep us. Give us the Cliff Notes version. It's just we're gonna focus mostly on the game, but I
of
do have
course.
to know who you think. So just give us like your short and sweet.
Short and sweet. All right, cool. Awesome Peter Parker. I'm gonna say Andrew Garfield.
Okay, why?
But okay, it's the quips. That is what Peter is known for, is his quips, and as that, it was great. The nerdy side, Tobey Maguire has nailed on point.
Yep.
Um, I'm not even going to introduce. I'm not even going to say Tom Holland because, to be honest, I feel like Tom Holland is a nice mix of the two of Toby and Andrew. But by far, I love Andrew's Spider-Man the most. His
Yeah.
suit for
Yeah.
the second movie, fantastic. He had a
Yep.
really original style first suit, and honestly, I'm sad they didn't do good for the second movie because it had so much potential for Andrew Garfield. So I would say
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield is my top favorite Spider-Man.
I do like Andrew as well. The way that he acts while he's in the suit, when you
Yeah.
can't even see his face, but you can see all his movements,
You
and he has so much like character and charisma.
Yeah, like he
Like,
doesn't need the eye movements because you can feel his emotion.
yeah, yeah. I think he's the most energetic, the most charismatic of the three, definitely. I would say, yeah, for me, Andrew as well, and then Toby, of course, because he's the fucking OG.
Yep.
Everyone fucking loves Toby.
And that's the
And
thing is
then
I tried staying away from nostalgia. Like when people are like, "Oh, what's your favorite Spider-Man movie?" I'm like, "Spider-Man 1." Sorry, Amazing Spider-Man 1 because I won't say No Way Home because that is a pure nostalgia movie.
yeah, it
Like
was great though, dude.
it
It
was
was
good.
an
Believe me,
experience.
I loved Green Goblin manhandling Peter.
Dude,
That was
now that you mention that, when they were in the hotel and he threw him up, grabbed him, and launched him down through like two stories,
yep.
dude, I was in the theater. I was about to rip my shirt off. Like, this is insane, bro. Green Goblin was on some savage shit in that movie. I loved
Yeah.
it, bro. Like when Tom was punching him in the fucking face like six times, dude's just laughing in your
Yep, he's
face.
just
I'd
like,
be like,
dude,
all
I'm
right, that's
crazy.
it. I'd be like, that's it. I'm done. I'd just leave right there if I was him. It was crazy.
And
It
you
was
know,
a great movie.
the best thing about Spider-Man is character. There's always improvements. So
Yeah, of
we got
course.
that movie, and we also have this Spider-Man series, the Spider-Man games. And
Yeah.
this
Oh
Spider-Man
yeah.
has just the story hits you so hard, and really makes you feel for these characters, unlike any other game I've ever played. I am
Yeah.
That is my honest take on the Marvel's Insomniac Spider-Man. Is he's also overpowered. I'm not gonna lie, like this
You think so?
Spider-Man,
Really?
I think Toby had a hard time with Doc Ock, and like everyone else like had a hard time with these single villains, and like they were at their basic prime, I would say, in the movies. And by their second movie, first movie I won't say because like you're always kind of getting like that's their origin story. By their
Yeah. Yeah.
second and third movie, they got manhandled. This Spider-Man was able to take on the Sinister Six, had like what 36 broken ribs, and still went to go fight Doc Ock and got his ass beat, but still was able to go do it and fight all of the other villains.
Yep, yep.
Like for me, that's saying that Insomniac Spider-Man is just built on a whole new level.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's been Spider-Man for
10 years.
yeah, 10 years.
Well, first game it was 8 years.
Yeah, yeah. Let's focus on the first game. For those watching, he was talking about the story for the first game, not the second one.
Yeah, no, that was the first game.
The first game was the Sinister Six, and then at the end, Doc Ock came up, and it was great. The story. Let's focus on the first game right now, and then we'll go
We'll
in order
jump
from
into
there.
that then.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about where your mindset was at, how you experienced the first game when it came out, and what led you to when did you start making content for Spider-Man based off the first game? Because I know you played that one
So
before.
I never did a walkthrough for the first Spider-Man. I was still in my like beginning baby steps, I guess you would say, into content creating. I was doing live streaming, so I would live stream the game once in a while, but I would be live streaming other things. But I remember when Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man was first announced, and I thought it looked awesome, but I was pissed off because I was an Xbox fanboy at first. So we're gonna throw that in there at the beginning because before you guys hear my reviews on these two games, Spider-Man 1 and 2, I was a diehard Xbox fanboy. Okay. And then Spider-Man converted me to PlayStation. He was the
Oh,
reason I got a PS4 and played Marvel Spider-Man, Insomniac. And then same thing with the PS5. We'll jump into that later, but like I'll say
yep.
quickly, I got a PS5 because Miles Morales got announced. And I was like, okay, I'm getting that instead of the Xbox. But
Damn.
back to the first one, I once I started playing that game, I was hooked. I ended up 100%ing that game. On the PS4, I 100%ed about 4 times. On the PS5,
Four times you platinumed it 4 times.
mhm. And then on the PS5, I've done it. I think I 100%ed it twice, I believe, on the PS5.
I'm sorry, it's just insane for me to hear things like because the way I've always been, I do call myself just a casual gamer. Like I'll play games one time for the story, and if I like it, I'll play again for the extra shit. But just to platinum 4 times,
Yeah.
that's I don't know. I don't have the time. I don't have the commitment. I lose interest so quick and shit. So when people tell me that and they say like they're completionists and shit, I'm like, dude, mad respect because I could
Yeah.
never,
Like
ever in my
I know
life.
for a fact I am like because I lost my save data once I got a PS5 because
Oh
I ended up
hell,
selling my PS4. But I know for sure I 100%ed it 4 times and 5 with the PS5. And then I beat the game
Jesus.
at least minimum 6 times, 6 or 7 times.
And so when you first got it, when it first came out, did you platinum it on your first playthrough?
No, my second playthrough.
Oh, gotcha. So how many hours do you think your first playthrough was? I know you were probably doing like the main story and then also all the side stuff as well, right?
Um, I don't know. I'd
If you
have
had
to
to
look
guess.
because I know. Well, I'll say this for the PS5 version, where I've beaten it 2 or 3 times. I have about 84 hours
In one playthrough or like in total?
in total. And like
Okay,
when I
okay.
look on my PlayStation and it says like how it says like 100% and then it says played for this many hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it says 84 hours. And that's also because I like swinging around in the game. There'll be times
Yeah.
where I've thrown on music and I've just mindlessly swung around and
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't do anything else.
so now that you mentioned the swinging, for me, all right, we're gonna go back to the past. When I was a kid, I had a GameCube and we had Spider-Man 2 on the GameCube, and that I played that game religiously. That was the one based off the Spider-Man 2 Toby movie with Doc Ock.
Yeah.
The swinging in that game I thought was fucking amazing. So little me swinging in that city was great, and then I played Spider-Man PS4 years later, and I'm like, my mind is blown how
Yeah.
fucking different it is. It was different. It was like upgraded, but it felt so much of the same.
Yeah,
and it
it,
was
it has its
they
like original aspect to it.
yeah, they nailed it perfectly, the swinging. Like, I feel like anybody who loves video games or who loves even comics or superheroes can pick that game up and swing for like 10 minutes and be like, okay, this feels amazing. Like, this
It's
feels
calming.
great.
Like it just yeah, it's a calming experience playing that and swinging around
Yeah,
because
I
you feel like Spider-Man.
yeah, definitely. And it sounds so cliche when you say that, but it's like it's definitely fucking true. Like, and I love how Spider-Man PS4 they took such inspiration from like the Arkham series and Assassin's Creed. They kind of like mixed their combat together,
Yeah,
and it was so perfect for Spider-Man 2. I remember long before the game came out, everyone was talking about it after they showed like the trailer. They're like, "What's the combat gonna be like? What are they gonna do?" And everyone's like, "Are they just gonna copy Batman Arkham?" And everyone's like, "No, they shouldn't do that because it's Spider-Man." Blah blah blah. And then it came out, and everyone's like, "Well, okay, it's fucking good. It's good."
yeah.
Like it's
And
great. It's great.
what you mentioned there is my I would say is my biggest pet peeve with people coming at the Spider-Man games.
And
Because
comparing it,
I saw I saw a comment of Spider-Man 2, and someone's like, "Oh, this is just a copy and paste." And I looked at it and I'm like, "Okay, so what did you think Batman Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and Arkham Knight were? They were copy and
yeah,
paste of the first game.
yeah,
They
like
made the gameplay mechanics. It was perfect. There were some flaws, but which they did add adjustments to throughout each game. But essentially, it was a copy and paste because they knew that combat system worked. And that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
thing that people I think don't understand when it comes to sequels of games is yes, they are copy and paste of the first game, but what matters is if they've made adjustments. And
yeah,
that is what I found in Spider-Man 2. They did heavily. They added the web wings, they added the enhanced flying swinging mechanics, and they've made it faster. Like for me to go through the city when I'm playing Spider-Man 2, I
mhm,
found it was way faster than the first game.
yeah, yeah,
With web
definitely.
suits, the web wings, like removed from it, you could like that's what I mean. Like you could still swing so much faster through.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Going back to what you said about the copy and paste, I so the way I see it, there are two different ways they can do it. And the first one that I see is obviously the best example of games that I think do it kind of shitty is Call of Duty. Call of
Oh
Duty
yeah,
every year just literal copy, literal paste, add new guns, new maps, whatever. That's all they changed. But I think for Spider-Man, what they did is I don't think they copy and pasted. I think they took the groundwork for Spider-Man PS4 and they evolved it. They added so much to make it more of just the foundation. Like they built a whole new house over what they had laid down. Because yes, it has a lot of the same things, but a lot of them are also expanded upon. Like the web wings, they
yeah.
added all these new abilities to Spider-Man. They added so much.
Incorporating like
Yeah,
sorry to cut you off.
they no, no, you they expanded the city as well.
Yep.
Like, yeah, they had the base of what they wanted, but they also grew so much more from it. And I think that's why it worked so great because we knew we were already comfortable with the first game in Miles Morales, and they just took that and said, okay, here's so much more content, enjoy. And it worked. I think it worked perfectly,
Yeah, and they
honestly.
added more mechanics from the Miles Morales game, like
Yeah, yeah,
with him you being able to use his abilities to assist how fast you're going when you're swinging, like having him push himself forward with the Venom strike, and then incorporating that into Peter with
yeah,
using
yeah.
the mechanical arms.
Yeah. So I don't want to speak too much about Miles Morales because it's a good game. It's not as important as
But we're here for Spider-Man too.
yeah, yeah. So for those watching, Miles Morales was there was Spider-Man PS4 and then there was Miles Morales. Miles Morales was a lot shorter, but it was like the proper introduction for Miles becoming Spider-Man and then they used that to put them both in Spider-Man 2. I think they did it great,
Yeah,
but
a lot of people said it should
Spider-Man
have been a
PS
DLC, but I think it was good enough for
yeah, yeah, it
what it
definitely
was, and
yeah,
they
it definitely
lowered the
could have
price tag
stood.
for it.
Yeah, it definitely could have stood on its own. When I was playing it, I was going back and forth. I could see where maybe they at first were thinking about making DLC, but then they kind of, I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird case. Like I can see both sides of the argument, but I think they did it. It worked fine. What they were doing. It was really
Yeah.
just the springboard for Spider-Man 2. I think that's what it was. It was them preparing to really go all out for Spider-Man 2. Now, let me start before we dive into Spider-Man 2. I do have to let the viewers know we're not going to spoil the ending of the game. At the time of us recording this episode, the game today's Thursday. The game has barely been out for a week, and I do not want to spoil the ending for people because I know people are still going to be playing it for
No
a
one's
long
like
time.
me for finishing
Yeah,
it on
yeah.
Monday.
People have. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. I want them to come to the video and then see our general thoughts. We'll go until like the last few missions of the story and not
I
any of the big plot twists.
I would
But
say we should go up to the point that people saw in the what was it, the PlayStation showcase,
yeah, the
where
state. I know exactly what
Miles
you're
and
talking
Peter
about.
are chasing the lizard, and Peter has
Yeah,
the symbiote. So we'll go up to
yeah,
that point.
yeah. That's
Um,
that's that's perfect. Actually, that's about like 15 hours in
yeah,
to the main story. That's good.
15
Yeah,
hours
yeah.
in. What do you mean?
For me, it was 15 hours. All right. I
I
don't
was gonna say
listen, guys.
it took me about like 16, 17 hours to finish the game.
Listen, guys, before we get into it, let me explain myself. I did not rush this fucking game.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't
Everybody,
rush.
everybody and their mom, when this game launched, was just immediately at midnight. Take 6 days off work, sitting here playing Spider-Man. Oh, I already beat it. What? The game is short, motherfucker. You played the game for 20 hours straight in
I'm
one sitting, and now you're complaining it's short.
My favorite is messaging you and be like, dude, you need to finish it.
like,
We need to talk about it.
it's like when you're at a fancy restaurant, you want to enjoy the meal. You just don't want just what's the
So
point, you know?
to add to that, the problem is the community. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
everybody. It's the community. When it comes to a story-driven game, as much as like everyone loves story-driven games, but when they come out, everyone posts spoilers,
yeah, and
and a lot of content creators, I'm honestly have been really disappointed in because they look at it and at a story-driven game and they're like, oh, this is gonna get me views, and it becomes more
yeah,
about getting the views, less about being mindful that you're ruining the storyline for other players. Because yeah, like you've posted this on your thumbnail, and people are watching your videos and following, and that they'll know what that is.
yep.
But you have to be mindful that you're part of an algorithm. If somebody watches a Spider-Man video, they're going to get suggested your video, and they're going to
Oh yeah,
see that
yeah,
thumbnail, and they're going to get spoiled for the end game. So like without saying anything, I got spoiled because I went on Google and I was just searching up a simple character, and then someone's video popped up with a
yeah,
thumbnail, and I was like, really, man?
yeah. I tried so hard to stay off of social media when I was playing it, and but that's exactly how I was spoiled too. I was on YouTube just looking through like my recommended. I didn't even search for Spider-Man, but people's thumbnails would come up, and it's not. I don't blame them. I know it's the hustle, it's the grind. You know,
Yeah.
when new games come out, there are specific channels like Rad Brad and Tetra Ninja and all those people who they have to do it. It's their, I get it,
I
but I
wouldn't even
feel
say
like
Rad Brad has done it. I kind of keep in touch with like his videos, and I haven't really seen much like spoiler content with it. And like Courage JD, like when he was doing he was streaming his walkthrough, but he was using thumbnails, like generic thumbnails. He wasn't like
yeah,
taking
yeah,
something and being like, "Hey, like come see my stream."
yeah. I just don't like. I don't know, and there's nothing we can really do about it
No,
besides just
and
not
that's what,
looking at it.
but like that's what I mean. Like that's what makes people like take a day off work, and if they want to, or just grind out the game so fast and finish the
Yeah.
campaign because they want to experience that fresh take of the game before somebody else spoils it for them.
Oh
Just
yeah,
like with like
definitely.
movies, like same thing, Marvel movies. I'll go see a Marvel movie the second it comes out because I know if it's a movie I care about, I don't want to get spoiled for it. Like Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, I saw it day one because I didn't want to
Yeah,
get
me too.
spoiled.
Me too, dude. I knew exact. Yeah, I knew it was gonna happen. I had to go there day one when Endgame came out.
Yeah, because that's the thing. When you're a nerd like us, Your Instagram feed, your Facebook feed,
Full of it. Yep.
everything, you're in that algorithm. And
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to get spoiled no matter what. You could not be searching for it and it'll still pop up on your feed.
Oh yeah, yeah. Is all right, but let's get back to
Yeah,
Spider-Man
let's
2.
let's start on the Spider-Man 2 review.
So I want to start with, I guess we'll start at the beginning. So the game opens up with well, it properly opens with Harry looking at the whole symbiote thing. Now, I like how they did that because in the first game, you knew Harry was gone and you knew he was going through treatment. I don't think they showed the symbiote though
No, they showed it in
in
the after
Spider-Man
credits.
PS4. Yeah. So that was very interesting that Harry was going to use the symbiote. My one thing was immediately when they do that, you automatically know, okay, so he's going to be Venom in this game. Like they're just going
Yeah,
to come out
that's
right from the start and
yeah,
say,
before we
okay,
even go through that, everybody, this it's bottom line, that is what's going to happen. Like
yeah,
if you watch
immediately.
anybody's walkthrough, that's the first scene you're gonna see, and it's very known that he's gonna be the new.
It
There is
was a
no Eddie
good,
Brock in this. Like,
yeah, it was a good. I liked it. It was a good twist. It was
yeah,
because you don't see it a lot, and I was like, okay, I see what they're trying to do.
they're being
I like,
original, and it worked.
yeah, yeah. So we see that, and then we see Miles and Peter. They're at school. Peter's a teacher. I don't know why. I don't know why he thought he would be a teacher and be able to keep a schedule and a job.
He's still trying
I
to
don't
figure his
know.
shit out.
I don't know what he was thinking, but so yeah, yeah. Most people know about the Sandman battle. That was great. That was a good start to the
It
fucking
was it
game,
was
dude.
really,
That's
man. I'm addicted to that song. I listen to it when I go to work. Um,
the
but
style. I will say the style that they put in to the game, like the presentation and the style, the music, perfect. It was absolutely Homelander meme. It was perfect. It was right to
down
the
to the
last
last
detail.
minute detail.
Perfect. It was great.
Also, you know what's also perfect?
What?
Miles's haircut. I
Yes,
don't know. I'm
yes.
obsessed with it. I love it. It is so good. Like,
This is
I feel like they did Peter dirty because Peter's neck is like thick. I get they wanted to make him look muscle, but like Peter comes in, he's like swole. He's like, yeah, I got a thick neck, man. And Miles just like, yo, look at my haircut. Yeah, this is
dude,
my
Miles.
game.
Miles is great, and I loved how they had Miles have that. They're not in a relationship, but they have that romance.
Oh,
He has the
Haley.
romance with the deaf woman. Yeah, yeah. I loved that. It was in Miles Morales' game, and I
It was like
love
kind
that
of
they kept
teased
it
a bit,
going.
but
Yeah, I loved every time Miles was on the screen, I was just smiling. I loved playing as Miles. I wish Okay, this is gonna be my first real complaint with the game. Let me explain it, and then I'll get your take on it, all
because
right?
you know I'm gonna have some kind of like,
Oh yeah, I already know. So I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think Miles is so underrated in these games, and he's such a great Spider-Man character. Sometimes I think he's better than Peter. Besides that, I think Insomniac underutilized him in the game. Let me explain what I'm saying. When they did all the marketing, they did all the promotions for the game. The whole point was the game is equally Peter and Miles. But when you're playing the main storyline, the main story is basically about Peter and Harry and the symbiote. I get that. But Miles doesn't really have his own story, like his own main story. The only parts that he has is let me help Peter, let me go find Martin Lee, let me go do this side mission or this side mission. I wish they had also given him his own real plot. Like have the symbiote and then maybe have Miles be just dealing with Kraven or something, just something that makes him feel important in the story too. Like, cause there's so many times when he's just like the back burner character, and Peter's like, "No, I don't need Miles right now. No, I can handle this. Miles is just doing whatever." It's like
so
he's here, just let him do stuff, you know?
so I'm gonna counteract that. Um,
Okay.
I feel like you're gonna think completely differently when you finish the story on that statement.
But the thing is, yeah, there's the ending, of course, but I don't know. I just wish they had given him more to do
I
through the
but
campaign.
okay, so I'm gonna work my way around this without spoiling anything. Um, I think what they're doing is setting up Miles to be more of a main character in a later Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is
Like
the good way to
I
say what
think
you're saying without saying
just
it. Yeah.
just like his story is there. They have his story and it's not as big as Peter's, but I think the main focus of the story right now is Peter and the symbiote, him trying to get his life together. That's all I'm going to
I,
say on that topic because I really don't want to spoil anything for people because
oh yeah,
they're in
of
for a
course,
roller coaster of like content.
of course, of course. I can see that. My response would be if we're focusing on just Spider-Man 2, just up to where we decided to not speak,
Yep.
I think they could have done more for Miles. I understand he's kind of like still getting his legs, but I just feel like whenever I was playing as Miles, it was like I was doing the bitch work.
Well, think about it.
Like,
This is also the beginning of Miles. Like Miles, this is because the Miles Morales. I know we weren't going to talk about Miles Morales game, but the Miles Morales game was him by himself. This is
yeah,
now, yeah, like because he's still in his beginning years, and then this is also him now being with Peter, and Peter's trying to get his life together, but Miles is still like, I need you. Like he's looking at it as the big brother. Like Peter is his big brother.
oh yeah,
That's
definitely,
basically
definitely.
what they've done in this game, and Miles is trying to understand that Peter has his own life, but Miles desperately needs his guidance
Yeah,
and is not receiving his guidance. So, because if we're talking about where we are in the game, like with the lizard thing, Peter has been detached from Miles since Harry has come back into the picture. Because Harry, that's his best friend, and Peter is ignoring Miles's calls when he's with Harry because he wants to soak in all that time. And Miles is feeling neglected. Miles still needs to work on his essay for his college application, and there's still a lot of information going on with Miles' story. But I agree that there wasn't a lot throughout throughout that story. I just think that that wasn't Insomniac's focus, and that they have bigger plans for Miles in the future.
yeah, I can see that. I just wish Miles had, and I know for the ending they're gonna feel a little differently, but I just feel like for the most part, I think it was my fault. I was just so excited to play as Miles in this game, and just
Yeah.
because I relate to Miles so much more
Wait until you
than
see the
Peter.
type of costumes that he has that you can unlock from
Oh yeah,
challenges.
I I got the Black Panther one, and it has been
Oh, there's one
glued
that's
to me.
better than the Black Panther one.
That one has been glued to me, dude. No way I'm taking that one off.
So I'm gonna not spoiler, but vague.
Okay.
Okay. New enemy types. When you finish all of their challenges, there's a very nice costume that you get from it.
Oh hell. Okay. I know what enemy type you're talking about. Now that's we're gonna lead that into our next topic, which
Yep.
is gonna be enemy variety. Now
So I saw your TikTok on this, and I immediately
let
went to the
me
comments.
let me explain. Let me explain. Let me explain. I want to bring up a topic. Let me explain, and then we'll get into it. Don't just attack me straight up. Let me explain. Look. So the game, I get it. I get they don't have a bunch of time to develop a whole bunch of different fucking enemies. I get that. But the game, there was a time when Kraven first comes to New York. Okay, so anyone watching, the story is Kraven comes to New York. He's doing his hunt. I did like Kraven, and I did like his story, and I did like his whole deal of I want to do a final hunt before I die of cancer or whatever. I like that. But
Mhm.
so Kraven comes to New York, and he's hunting all the villains, and he has his own army. And there is a time if you are focusing on the main story mostly, there's about 8 hours of gameplay for the main missions where you will only exclusively be fighting Kraven's minions. It's like the same four minions. It's like one bitch who has two swords, a guy with a shield, Some people with guns or rocket launchers. There's a big brute. He looks like he's from fucking Assassin's Creed Valhalla with a big axe and shit. And then there are two different drone types. There's the bird, and then there's the lion or the cat, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But these are the only enemies you will be fighting in the story for like
Don't forget
8
the
fucking
archers,
hours. Yeah, yeah, dude, they're so fucking annoying.
where they're like they just like grapple onto a wall. I
Yeah,
see them grapple onto a wall. I'm like, oh, thank you. Web shooters, stick them to the
yeah,
wall.
immediately. It is. But yeah, these are the same enemies that you will be fighting, and man, it really started to wear on me at the end. It's like
So
I I get it. I understand they couldn't they were limited with what they could do with the story with the enemies. I get that. But like, dude, at some point I was like, when it's wave after wave after wave of the same enemies, it's like, okay, I need to either take a break from this game,
so
I need to do something
counter
else.
argument on that.
Okay.
First game of Spider-Man and all
Was the
like Spider-Man 1.
Yep.
We had melee guy, like just fists. We had the stun baton.
Yeah, I remember
We had the gunner,
the
and we
shield guy.
had the brute, the shield, and the brute with the Gatling gun. So we only had 6 enemy types.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you think about it, they added a lot more enemy types in the second game.
Yeah, they did switch it up. There also is the Sandman enemies as well, but
Oh,
they're not really
those are
like
just like super easy. Those are
yeah,
two
yeah.
variants.
Yeah. Now, before anybody comes at me wrong about this, now I'm not saying this is an issue just for Spider-Man 2, because while I was playing Spider-Man 2, I was also going back to look at parts of that I was doing for like Arkham City and Arkham Knight, and it's the exact same. Like
I would say the
for
Arkhams are worse for enemy
yeah,
variety.
yeah, yeah, and I saw that, so I had to like put it in perspective for myself. Like this has been something that's been going on with these types of games for a long time. It's just maybe I was a little burnt out because I had played Miles Morales right before Spider-Man 2 and the enemy types were very similar. Maybe I was just burnt out, but it stuck out to me, and
That's fair.
some
That's a
that was
fair
something that
assessment.
yeah, I should have known going in that I shouldn't have done that. But besides that, the combat in the game and everything to do with fighting was excellent. The abilities for Peter with his web legs and the symbiote. Miles' abilities are always going to be the best. I don't give a fuck who you are. Miles has the best abilities. The Venom Punch can go in the Hall of Fame as one of the best abilities in
Yeah,
any
I don't use the
Superman
Venom
game,
punch. I
any
use
superhero game.
the blue
What?
lightning strike.
Oh,
Like
well,
the beam. I was like,
You're a Star Wars fan. Of course you're gonna use
so
that. Of course you're gonna use
I
like
use that one. I use the one where he basically like shoots himself up in the air and then slams down onto a guy.
yeah, yeah, like
It
that with the
almost looks
ground
like he
pound. Yeah,
teleports, but I know he's just shooting up.
yeah, yeah.
What else? Oh, there's one where he kind of pulls everyone in. That is very helpful for crowd control.
Yeah, you're talking
If
about
you're because like
the reverse flex one.
yeah, and then there's one other ability I won't say because you're not at it's more end game ability. Um, but I use that one as well, which is very helpful for also crowd control. Um, Speaking of crowd control, I've been playing and recording the series on spectacular difficulty, and for everyone complaining about that the AI is terrible, because I have seen videos of people being like, "Oh, the AI is so bad. They just stand there." I'm like, "You're playing it on easy," because I'm playing
Yeah,
it on spectacular mode, and oh my god, the amount of times that I get crowd rushed from enemies. Like I'll be fighting like 3 enemies at once, and then they'll be like, "Oh, reinforcements." Boom, all up in my grill, and I'm like, dude, what is happening? And I end up dying. They're, like throughout my series, I've had to. There's been times I've actually had to cut some parts because I kept dying so much on
yeah,
it.
I
So I
know.
had to be like, okay, well, this is like a full beginning segment of me just dying. So I had to like kind of shorten that by like half. So whatever you
Yeah,
see on that walk playthrough, like add double that with the amount of times I've died.
yeah. I don't know why you. For those watching, you might not know. when Spider-Man 2 came out, he decided, don't know why, he's a fucking madman. He decided to play on spectacular difficulty his first playthrough,
Yep,
recorded it for YouTube at like in each part. I don't know why you would do that.
because it's
I don't know.
challenging.
Yeah, but your first playthrough, like I'm just trying to enjoy the fucking story, and you're just over
Yep.
here spectacular.
Once I
I gotta
100%
do it.
it, I'm going to be going on to ultimate difficulty, which
I
hopefully
don't.
New Game Plus will be out by then, because I'm not looking forward to going ultimate difficulty on a fresh start. I want my
Yeah,
abilities, because holy
I
crap,
don't.
it gets
I don't
rough.
know how people do it.
Like
I
the
couldn't do
lizard
it.
fight, I okay.
Oh, hold up. We'll get there. Let's go back because I want to go as we go. So we left off the Sandman fight. Okay,
Yep.
the next thing I wanted to talk about because we'll get there. Don't worry. So yeah, Harry comes back into Peter's life, and immediately I think that's the first part where Insomniac kind of stumbled because we already knew Harry had something to do with the symbiote. So when we see him, my first thought is, nah, I don't trust you. You're up to some fuck shit. And
I think they
the
tried
whole
throwing a
game,
curveball though.
yeah, the whole game, I'm looking at Harry like, why are you trying to act like, like I feel like I was feeling like Drewski, like what are you trying to do right now?
What do
Like
you got up your sleeve?
I already know you planning something. Like so, Harry comes back and he's like, yeah, Peter, I want you to join me in my facility and we'll heal the world. And it's like, okay, that's
What I
okay, I
think this
see.
is genuine though, because like what
Yeah,
we
yeah,
know
yeah. I
about
think it
this
is
from all
too.
the comics, the symbiote messes with your mind and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
plays off of your negative emotions. And
yeah,
so Peter or my or wow, Harry genuinely um wants those things, but the longer he has the symbiote and the longer it's
yeah.
being used, the more it becomes like they go into symbiosis, and it starts to it will start to tamper with your emotions like it does with Peter, which is going to be not a spoiler, and it's no surprise that that happens. It happens, and every time Peter gets the symbiote.
Yeah, yeah. I think I knew it was genuine as well. It's just they immediately make us question him with
Yeah,
the way they started the game. I know he was being genuine because the way that he's acting, you can tell is no like bursts of anger or whatever that the symbiote does. But it's like they shouldn't have shown that he was influenced in the symbiote. I mean, I think it would have been a better twist if we didn't even see that beginning of the game, like that cutscene.
yeah.
And we just saw Harry back, and then have it come as like a plot twist when the symbiote comes out, and Peter's like, "Oh shit, so this is how you've been healed." But
I think
yeah, yeah. So
I agree with that. Um, it's also hard because they did show us in the first game that he was in the tank, and people knew that that was the symbiote right off the bat.
yeah,
Um, but I think there were a lot of people that also theorized that maybe Norman Osborn would have had it, which, like, I don't think would have been a good theory because if Norman Osborn were to get anything, he should get the Carnage symbiote. Because I was talking to my buddy about this. Um, Red Goblin, it's a comic storyline, and for those that haven't read it, I highly suggest it. If you thought the Green Goblin was strong, imagine him with the Carnage symbiote added to that strength. In that comics, he meant like I'm not even joking with how much he manhandles Spider-Man. It got to a point where like he messed up Spider-Man so bad that Miles, I believe, Silk, Gwen, like all the other spider people came up to him and be like, you need to like lay low because Red Goblin will kill you if you go
yeah,
out there again. And so like I'm glad they didn't like that wasn't a thing, but I would love to see them try and do that for a future game or even a movie. I want Red Goblin.
yeah, yeah. I can see that. Um, yeah, yeah. So uh, to the game. Let's
Yep.
see. So Harry comes back, and
They
I'm
reveal
trying to
things.
remember. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Okay, well, let's just start. Let's just get into the shit. So, Mary Jane.
Okay, before you go into Mary Jane though, the flashback sequences. Because we were on Harry. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah. I
this is
did
where I
like
thought you
I
were gonna kind of go into, but like the fact that you can go into a flash like the flashback of young Peter, I
yeah, I
that
did
was
like
really
that.
cool.
I did like that. And it also made me realize cuz in the game they mention Peter's been Spider-Man for 10 years, but you don't really think how long it's been. But when you see him as a teenager,
You
like
really see the difference.
yeah, you really see how much time it's been. It's great. 10 years of crime fighting. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But another issue that I have with the game, I have to mention it for the video. I have to because I almost messaged you about it. So there's a part when Harry is showing Peter the whole facility that they're going to be working at. Tell me why, if you go back and you play that mission, Peter is in street clothes the whole time.
Hmm.
Why does this motherfucker have his web shooters on his fucking
Yeah,
hands?
I saw that too. That bugged me.
Excuse
Like,
me.
like
Like they're not even
it's
like disguised. They're just like
they're
red
there.
Spider-Man shooters. And me, like if I was Harry, my
That's
whole time I'd be like, Pete, what?
what are those? Like, oh, they're just accessories. They're I got them from Spider Mart.
Like Peter, do you just not give a fuck anymore? Like, do you think people are blind, sir?
Yeah, that I did have an issue for that. I will agree. That was my big issue for probably for the game. I don't have that many big issues except for glitches. I don't know if you experienced them in your playthrough,
I
but
didn't experience. I experienced only like one glitch in
so
20 hours.
I had two or three glitches. First glitch was when you're rescuing Tombstone, um, and you have to go to a terminal after fighting a bunch of enemies. And so I did that, went to the terminal, and then I went to go click triangle to access the terminal. Didn't work.
Mhm.
Click it
Yep.
again. Didn't work. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay. So I had to restart the checkpoint, do the whole mission again, um,
oh,
and
hell
then
no.
access terminal. Another time was when you're fighting Craven's guys in the court, or I guess the church area,
Yep.
and like finished everyone off, and I see a red dot on the map. I'm like, where the heck is the enemy? I scan the enemy. Enemy is down in the ground, and I'm like,
He's glitched. That
how am I
happened
going
to
to do
me,
that?
Miles Morales.
And so I had same thing. I had to restart the checkpoint. But those are my only two instances that I experienced a glitch. Um,
Now, did you catch those on camera?
yes,
Like while you were recording?
yeah,
Oh, that's great. That's great.
yeah. I'll try and find them. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did get those.
That's
Um,
excellent.
I wasn't gonna cut them from the video.
Of course, it adds flavor. It's
Yeah, like I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, you're such a Spider-Man PlayStation fanboy." Yes, but I'm also a realist. I know games aren't
yeah.
perfect. I know,
Oh yeah.
especially launch day. Yeah, there's always gonna be some issues with the game, and well, everybody, that's how it is, and
Yeah,
it's a simple patch update that they just have to do, and the game gets fixed.
yeah, oh
It's a
yeah,
lot more
definitely.
broken games. Like look at Cyberpunk. That was the most broken game ever. And
Yeah,
now
and
it's
they've
actually
turned that
running
shit
very
around. Yeah.
smooth.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've been playing that too lately.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but let's tackle
So
let's
MJ.
tackle the elephant. The elephant in the room. Let's tackle MJ. Now, let me start. I don't hate Mary Jane as a character, but I hate Mary Jane as a character. In everything that I've seen Mary Jane in, including the Tobey Maguire movies, including all the
Oh,
games,
Tobey Maguire
I
movie.
just
MJ was annoying.
I just there's something about her that just when I see her, it just makes my eyes roll back in my head. Like playing Spider-Man PS4, she has like 5 stealth missions, and I hated her stupid fucking stealth missions. Why am I playing as MJ in a Spider-Man game? Who asked for this? Nobody. No single person asked to play as Mary Jane. And they added her in this game, and they did make it a little better because she has a stun gun, whatever. But now let me say her missions in Spider-Man 2 are not as bad as they were in
No,
Spider-Man
they're not that
PS4.
bad. And they're stealth and then eventually kind of turn into a third person shooter in a
Yeah,
way
yeah,
because
yeah.
you get the web shooters on her stun gun. Um, and like it's not terrible. And
It's not bad. It's not. It's just I I thought I signed how do I explain this
you
without
thought you
sounding
signed
like
up
a
for
piece of
playing a
shit?
Spider-Man game, not a
Yes. I don't want this. I want to say it where I don't sound like an asshole. So my whole everybody is hyped because they want to play as Peter or Miles or someone else that's cool. And now I'm gonna say that. Don't say it. I don't want to spoil. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it. I'm just saying we want to play as cool characters in a Spider-Man game. I
Thing
don't
is,
want to play as
I'm
Mary
in it for
Jane.
the story, and if I need to play as MJ for, I think there's 3 MJ missions in that game. If I have to play her for 3 missions, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Um,
So
out of
one of
like
her missions.
33 or
Yeah, yeah,
35.
yeah. I agree. One of her missions was good, but it's only because it was more like a set piece. Talk about the one when you're in the tunnels with Peter, with symbiote Peter. That was cool, but
Yeah,
that's because it wasn't like a mission. It was more like
we're
a.
getting a little further from where we were.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to mention that that's the only one of her missions that I could stand. But besides that, like, and again, her missions are just her fighting these same kraven minions again. So not only do you have to fight these same minions, you have to be stealthy around them. You have to distract them with rocks. You have to shoot them in the neck. It's just I don't want to do it. I wanted to play as it's like I've spent 10 hours beating the fuck out of these dudes. Why can't I just go back to that instead of having to oh, can she see me? Oh, she can't see me. Okay, let me shoot her in the neck. Like
Yeah, I can
MJ
see that.
MJ was just
I just like
she was something.
it's not a deal breaker.
No, it's not. It's not. Don't get me wrong. Now, at the end of the video, I'll explain. These are not. They're not major issues I have with the game. It's just the reasons why I did not think the game was like 10 out of 10 perfect. These are the issues that I had with it, and no, they're not huge. That's why I'm not gonna be like this game is a fucking 6 or a 5 out of 10 because of fucking Mary Jane. No, I don't think that at all. It's just minor annoying things that when I first had the first, I will never forget this as long as I live when the first MJ mission came up and the camera pans down behind her to where you know like you're in control, and I was like, "Oh, we're doing this? Are we sure? Do we have to do this? Okay, okay.
Yeah,
All right." Like I will never forget that feeling in my heart just like, "Oh,
yeah.
okay."
But
So,
so I want to dive into graphics and performance. What are your thoughts on that?
graph
Because like
obviously the game is fucking beautiful on the PS5. I think it's one of the best fucking looking games. I had no issues with. I had one glitch, and it was only like a minor glitch where like Miles' suit was like always electrified. That was it. It just looked cool in
really,
cutscenes.
huh.
Didn't have any no floating heads, no glitching NPCs, none of that.
Yeah,
It
I
was good
never
for
had
me.
that either. I think they did quite a good job at the graphics. I don't think they were the best graphics that we've seen on a game to date, but I think it was very nicely polished.
Yeah,
And
nice,
performance
nice.
wise, it was probably one of the smoothest games I've played for a 60 frames per second game on the size of the map, and even like fast travel. I fast travel for the first time on the end game when I was just doing side quests,
Yeah.
and I click fast travel 2 seconds in, not even 2 seconds in, and I was in the spot that I wanted to be in.
Yep, yep.
Meanwhile,
And
Starfield, you
meanwhile,
got loading
I was gonna
screens.
say that. I was gonna say that. Meanwhile, in Starfield,
Don't
the
worry,
game
I'll
everyone
take the
says
heat
is
on this
better.
one.
The game everyone says is better. You gotta go to a menu, go to a planet, watch the loading screen, land, watch a cutscene, get out. Like, no, dude,
Yeah.
fuck you. It's bullshit. But I will say you're talking about the graphics. I will say the cutscenes, the facial animations, and just the sharpness of the characters. I was in awe. I would during the cutscenes, I would just stare at these characters at how fucking detailed they are. It's insane. Like
Yeah.
if you look at Norman Osborn, you can see all the little wrinkles, all the little like facial ticks that he has, and they just did a great job.
I also
Even
feel
with
like
Mary Jane.
the new facial, like the new faces, like Peter's face was perfect in this one. I honestly feel like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
face from PS4 Spider-Man would not have fit this Spider-Man in PS and the PS5. So
yeah. They
I
really,
understand now like why they changed it. Like it was already growing on me when I saw the PS5 Spider-Man face and the Miles Morales Spider-Man face. And like I got used to it at that point. And this one was like it sealed the deal. I was like, this is perfect. Like I get why they did that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Mary Jane's new rework is really good. Not gonna lie, got a crush on Mary Jane. I think she's pretty awesome. I
Yeah,
know
of
you weren't gonna
course,
say
of
anything.
course,
Hey, listen,
of course you
I
do.
know you got a crush on Black Cat. Okay,
You're the only one here on the MJ train.
I'm on the
You've
MJ
been on.
train. I'm on the Black Cat train. Apparently, from your thumbnail.
Black Cat, I wish she had more than one. I wish they had done more for Black Cat. They only gave her one mission. I don't know why. Why? Like, I understand. I get her whole little
Yeah,
story, and it was cool that they
her
added
mission was
Doctor.
very cool.
Yeah,
But it was
it was cool.
random.
It was cool. Um, they had the little nod to Doctor Strange and Wong. I like that. I like that a lot. But yeah, she just had like one mission. It was like they wanted to include her, but they didn't really want to include her. So they were like, let's just come up with some quick
So,
little one filler mission to get her out of here, and then she was fucking
so
gone.
um, 'cause since that's pretty much the DLC of the first Spider-Man game, let's talk about this DLC from the first Spider-Man game that blends into this one. Okay, without spoilers of the ending of this mission train, but the flame missions where you get to play with Wraith, or not play with Wraith, but you get to have Wraith on your team.
Yeah. That's one of the ones I didn't do. I was focusing more on the main story, but I know which one. I know
Okay,
what you're
so
talking about.
I would recommend before you even do the your continuation of the main story, do all of your flame missions because it ties into the main story, and
Really?
it is you will not be disappointed, and it ties into a potential either Spider-Man 3 or a DLC hopefully that they have in mind for Spider-Man 2. Because if they are going to do a DLC for Spider-Man 2, the flame missions is it's gonna be about. I 100%. They haven't said anything, but I know 100% that how they ended it. It's not over,
Damn. Okay.
and
So
it's
if anyone
good.
here is playing the game, flame missions, gotta get on it.
Yeah,
I will. I'll
because
definitely
when
get
you're
on.
doing your campaign, yeah, there'll be times where the flame mission will pop up, and like someone will talk to you about it. Like what I did, what I recommend to people that are going to be starting to play the game, is do those missions the second you see them pop up because the way they tie into the story is good.
Yeah. I definitely will then, because I know a little bit. I've heard people speak a little bit about it on social media, so I know kind of what it's about. But yeah, I don't want to spoil it myself. I definitely can go back because I haven't. Um, I can still go back to like an earlier save and see if I can do it.
Oh, no,
Um,
you can still do it like
like towards the end of the game.
yeah, you can just keep doing them. It'll
Okay,
just as you finish one, then it'll give you the next one after.
gotcha.
Um, but it is a direct continuation from the PS4 DLC of a certain
Gotcha.
storyline. The
Now,
comic people that know who Wraith is, it's pretty cool.
gotcha. Now, speaking of side missions and storylines, there was one side mission in this game that we
Two
both
side
talked
missions.
about before we. Well, I'm only talking about what I think. Now,
There's
look,
there's two older people side missions. Both of
I
them
only
had
did
me in
the what?
tears.
Damn it, Bazman. Let me get to it. Shit. There's only one that I did, and it's the one that everyone was talking about. I saw it even on fucking TikTok. Like people were doing the cutscene with the old man. Like Insomniac, I don't know what they were doing
Who
in the
hurt you?
studio that day. Yeah, like I don't know how that happened. Like we're playing a nice Spider-Man game, everything is cool, lighthearted, and then this old man comes in, and then like one cutscene, he just like breaks everyone down, and we're just like, damn.
See, but which old
Like
man are you talking about?
I'm talking about the one where this lady is trying to find her grandpa and he's lost in the park, and you go and you find him and he's like sitting on the bench and he's talking about his wife that passed away, and he's
Yeah.
talking about how he's about to die and he knows he's dying and it scares him, and all he can think about now as he's dying is the times he had with his wife, and when he's there he remembers her and he feels at home. Dude, even just talk about it now, I'm like, dude,
See, that was a sad mission.
that mission just came out of fucking nowhere,
But do
bro.
the
And
mission after it.
I'm like,
Because
dude.
the mission after it, I will just say the title of it. The title of the mission after is Howard. Do you
Okay, no, don't
it's
spoil it because I haven't gotten it yet. I've not gotten that one. Then I did the
you should have it already. It comes after Grandpa Earl.
okay, yeah, I can. I yeah. So once we're done, I'm probably gonna hop on the fucking game again, anyways. After we're talking about it for so long, yeah, I'll do the flame one, and then I can do Howard. But I don't know. I'd have to get myself ready for that shit because that shit really gutted me, man. It was so
But
beautifully
like,
written.
do you remember Howard? Does that name like kind of pop in your head? He's from the
Howard,
first
no
game. He briefly came in this Miles game. The pigeons.
pigeons.
You'd have to catch pigeons in the first game.
Oh, oh no. Was he like a side character?
Yeah.
No, I did not. When I was playing Miles Morales, dude. It was strict story because I was on a
Oh, so you
deadline.
won't even have like.
Yeah, I was on a deadline because Spider-Man 2 was right coming up, and I was trying to beat Miles right before. So I was just like main story.
Oh, so for those that have played the side quests, um, you'll really enjoy the Howard mission. It's very wholesome.
Yeah, if it hits like that old man one, dude, that was
It won't hit you as much if you haven't played the other ones and you see the connections.
yeah. So some of the side missions in this game were out of left field, but they were so much good. And there's so much stuff that you can do in the games in Spider-Man 2. But that's also another complaint I have about it. The game has well, if we're talking specifically about the main story, there are so many mini games and puzzles that they added just to I feel like they added it just to pad out the time.
Yeah,
There were so many of them and
I didn't mind
they
it.
weren't
Like,
hard. Yeah, they weren't hard. It just was like 5 minutes you would spend doing each one, and you're like, why? You could just
are you
done
talking
a
about
cutscene
the
for this.
genome?
Yeah, like genome splicing when you're doing the drones, when you're shooting the bees,
But those
when
are like
you're
basically the Harry side quests
yeah,
from
or when
from
you're
the
in the
first one.
yeah, when you have to do the Mysterium as Miles, and you gotta be the DJ, and there were let's see when you the game had a whole bunch of mini games, man. You
Well,
have to
because
admit
all
it had a
those,
lot.
but all those mini games are now side quests. They're
But
a bridge
a
to
lot
side
of
quests.
them, yeah, but a lot of them you do have to do in the main story,
Yeah.
like the
Well,
genome
that's
ones.
pretty much what they did throughout the other two games too. Like,
I
um,
think this game has the most
oh
because
yeah,
I
there's two
Miles,
characters they have to blend together and make sure
yes,
they give you a lot of content.
yeah, definitely has the most puzzles and mini games and shit. Miles Morales, I don't,
Because you
it didn't
had
have I didn't have as many because I can't think of what they had. They had
they had
the
the Prowler ones where you had
oh
to find
with
the music
Stash.
tones.
Yeah, yeah, and they bring that one back for Spider-Man 2 as well. Yeah, but that's a little later on.
Yeah,
But yes, they did. Yeah, I don't know, but just by the end of it, I was like, all right, I just want to keep going. Like, I don't want to do this. And there is, don't get me wrong, there is a skip puzzle button like option in the menu, but if you do it, I think you're a bitch. I know it's
I feel
weird
like you
for me to
just need to
complain
play
about
through the
it.
whole thing. It's like because it's part of the game.
Yeah, of course, of course. I complain about it, but I don't think you should just skip it. I think you should just fucking
They're not hard.
get it,
If you're
get it over with.
skipping it, like just do it. They're not that hard.
Um,
This is me coming from or coming from somebody that's doing it on spectacular, but
you always you there you go flexing your spectacular. Yeah, we get it. We get it. You're better.
well, I would say I'm the spectacular Spider-Man,
All right. So let's
Mr.
we're getting
Amazing
towards
Spider-Man.
the end. So we're getting towards the end. Another important part that I wanted to talk about was the symbiote. So now let me think because I have to set the stage for this. So Peter is fighting Kraven and he gets stabbed and he's about to fucking die and again, and I when I was playing that part, I messaged Baz or I sent him a voice message. I'm like, dude, Peter is about to die. He's fighting Craven. MJ is here. Harry is here. Why doesn't he just fucking call Miles? Like, hey Miles, I'm about to die. We need help. Where are you at? Get over here immediately. Doesn't even pick up the phone. Doesn't even try. Doesn't even think about Miles. I didn't
That
like that.
that was
But
also adding to the fact that he's been ignoring Miles, and
yeah,
he's
but
been
that was
so
before he
excited
even
for Harry having these abilities.
yeah. I don't think he was. I don't think Peter was the best friend to Miles for a
No, he
long part of
wasn't.
this game.
But it was because he's a very it's very like known that Peter is very all over the place. I said very way too much. Sorry, that was annoying. Miles or Peter's head is very all over the place.
Yeah.
Um, and so he's a single track mind, and he's focusing just on the fact that he has his best friend back, and his best friend has powers, and so he's doing all these missions with his best friend, and he
Now, when
thinks
you
that
say that,
Miles can handle his own, and so he forgets that Miles is there and just a call away. I think that's where it was. And then also the fact that when he was stabbed, I don't like his first thought wouldn't be call Miles. His first thought was I'm stabbed and like I'm dying. And
well,
like he was literally at the point of death.
the thing is, even before he was stabbed, before they even went there, he could have called Miles. He had Harry there.
But that
Why didn't he just say,
exactly
"Hey,
though.
Miles, come join
He
us"?
had Harry there. He was
But that's another thing. That's another issue that I had is Harry with the fucking symbiote suit. Harry didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and Peter was just ignoring all these signs that Harry did not have control of this fucking thing. When they almost killed, who was it? Was it Tombstone? Did they almost fucking kill trying to save him?
but
And then Harry's like,
try and put yourself in like that character's shoes. Like you thought your
"That's
best friend
Peter."
was dying. Yeah, you thought your best friend was dying. He comes back and and you're excited that he's back now. You're spending so much time with him because you're happy that your best friend's no longer dying. And now all of a sudden your best friend finds out you're Peter Parker or that you're Spider-Man and he himself has powers and wants to be a hero as well. Immediately your mind is going to switch into hyper fixation of
Yeah,
wanting to just spend that time with him and completely forget about other people because like even powers aside when somebody comes back into your life naturally you're going to be focusing on that person and you're going to push everyone else to the side, and so
yeah, yeah,
that's what's happening with Peter, and that's why he's not calling Miles. He's not um kind of like worrying what Miles is doing in his life. And
yeah.
yeah, that's a flaw in Peter, but I would say that that's also kind of adding to the fact that it's that itself is making him blind to what's happening to Harry. Because I don't even think there
Yeah.
were real signs that something was wrong with Harry because we don't see things wrong. We just see like little things like a symbol being added to the suit once it tried to kind of touch Peter. Um, I think there was caution, but I don't think there was any real like reason to be worried.
So this, I feel like this is the last conversation we're gonna have because it's gonna be a kind of a long one because this was mainly my issue with the game is
Okay.
this whole symbiote thing. Let me explain. So I obviously whenever you're dealing with the symbiote, now I want to focus mostly on just like the Tobey Maguire movies because they deal with that, and then also the games. I don't want to dive into the whole comic talk because we're gonna lose a lot of people because I know a
I
lot
would
of
even
people are.
say just more so the cartoon because the
Yeah,
Tobey
yeah, because
Maguire movie did not nail the symbiote whatsoever.
yeah, yeah. So I just want to focus on just the base, what you think the base fan of like Spider-Man would know about this stuff. Because if we dig too deep, we're gonna lose people. But when we're dealing with Spider-Man 2 and how they handled the symbiote, first thing with Harry, I get that Peter was obsessed with Harry. Yeah, he's back. I trust me, I get it. But my thing is Tigra. Sorry, my dog is just losing her fucking mind. My
She
thing
agrees with
is
me.
my thing is Peter is a genius. And yes,
Scientific genius.
So Harry comes in and he's like, "Yeah, I want to be a superhero too." And he has this new black suit. Why you really want me to believe that Peter Parker is not going to immediately look at this suit and say, "What is this? How does this work? What are you doing? What is this ability?" Like when he goes to shake Harry's hand and the symbiote tries to grab him and he's like, "What the fuck was that?" And Harry's like, "Oh, I don't know." And he's just like Okay. Okay,
Well, it's
cool. Whatever.
because
See you later.
he said Dr. Connors created the suit. Dr.
Yeah, yeah.
Connors
But
essentially like he sees that Peter sees that as somebody that's smarter than him. So he's like, "Oh, okay.
of
Well,
course,
how did this
but I
person
don't.
make this exosuit?"
Of course, but I don't buy it. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. Peter's not stupid. He's
But
not
you
just gonna
guys,
ignore all
but
this
everyone
shit.
also knows what the symbiote is. It's hard to make that like biased opinion um on something when you already know that that suit is bad. If you
Yeah,
kind of erase every thought of knowing that okay, the suit is like this the symbiote and it's trying to attach itself to Peter, you know it's evil intentions, but
yeah,
try and think of it as you don't know its evil intentions. You are just seeing this suit. You're told it's an exosuit made by this super intelligent scientist, Dr. Connors, um,
yeah.
and it just tries to react to you. So you don't know
I can
anything
see that.
about it.
Yeah, I can see that. So I'm not speaking mostly about the evil part of the suit. I'm talking mostly about how Harry could not control it at all. When they were trying to free Tombstone during that mission, there were so many times when Harry would just do shit and just destroy shit. And I remember at the end of the mission, Harry's like, "Yeah, I was fucking up a lot," and Peter was like, "Hey, it happens. You know, no one's perfect. I get that." But like, if I was Peter, I would just be like, at the end, I'd be like, "Dude, we need to like research the suit a little bit and figure out what exactly is going." Like, he never even talked to Harry about like, let's see what you can really do, or let's see what the suit is all about. He just assumes, oh, since Dr. Connors was involved, I don't need to worry about this. I just feel like they wrote him to be too carefree about it. I would be a little concerned myself if my friend is just like blasting out all this black shit and like doing all this crazy shit, and it's like, I don't know. I would just have been a little bit more concerned about it. That's what I was coming at. Not that it's evil, just like Harry, like Tombstone almost got melted with lava because this dude's doing crazy shit. I don't know. It was a huge leap for me to think like, okay, hey, Peter's a genius, but he's not really gonna question this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a leap. But um an even bigger leap than that for me was, how do you, now this isn't towards you specifically, but I want to know your opinion.
Okay.
How do you explain, now go based on, I don't, for this question, I want you to base it just on Spider-Man PS4, Miles Morales, and Spider-Man 2. Okay, I just want to, in this universe, how would you explain Harry having the symbiote for all the time he did and not having any like personality fault flaws, but within hours of Peter getting the suit, he immediately turns into the biggest dick in the universe?
Oh, like Harry?
Yeah, like, so how did Harry have it for so long and then it didn't affect him mentally, we assume, because he's not being an asshole. But right when Peter gets it, boom, immediately this dude is a piece of shit to everybody.
So with that, it's like I said earlier, where the symbiote builds off of negative emotion. There's a lot that is going on in Peter, and losing his job, and trying to figure out like shit with going on in his life. Seeing that article, a lot of negative things start to happen, and then him start getting to get frustrated with training Miles. There's a lot more aspects going on negatively in Peter, and also the fact that Peter has powers. Harry doesn't have powers. So what I think is going on is the fact that the symbiote is bonding with Peter's powers, and it's making the symbiote even stronger
And
because
you think,
it's taking aspects of Peter. Like remember when it reached when it was on Harry and it reached over to Peter and it
yeah,
briefly touched him and it was able to copy that symbol on the suit.
yeah.
That was only just briefly touching him. Imagine it being on him and like being all over him and his personality and his powers and everything. That symbiote is absorbing a lot of knowledge, a lot of power, and so that's why I feel like it was such a drastic change um, for Peter than it was for Harry. And then when it comes back, and then we get Venom, it's because it's also carrying a lot of the it's now carrying new anger that Harry has because Peter was being a dick to him, and the fact that Harry was dying um, from this illness, like it starts to, it's that symbiote is taking all of Peter's things, and it's pissed off at Peter as well. So this is set in the cartoon as well, but in the comics, this the whole point of why the symbiote is was so vengeful to Spider-Man is because Spider-Man is its perfect host,
Yeah.
and it's pissed off because Spider-Man rejected it, and that's why it's Venom and Spider-Man are such arch enemies, is because Venom is angry with Spider-Man for not allowing Venom to be like have that perfect host, so it settles for Eddie Brock, which is like the next best thing, for the symbiote.
Yeah, that does make sense. So you're saying that you think the symbiote was different for Peter because it was feeding faster on his powers, and that's what made it
Yeah,
grow even more, and it had a more influence. Now, as we say that, I will say about this is something about the PS5 itself. Now, when you're playing the game and Peter has that symbiote suit, um, if you have the audio on your controller where you can hear things through your controller, I loved the little detail in some of the cutscenes when Peter is fighting as a symbiote, you could hear Venom's voice through your controller, like whispering to you. I fucking
yeah.
loved
When you
that
go into that
detail. It
like
was
overdrive, it kind of
yeah, it
mode,
was
yeah,
perfect, man. When you would hit the overdrive, Venom would say like kill or hunt them down. You're like, dude, Insomniac was cooking when they did that shit. Oh my
yep.
god, it was great. I loved that. I also love that they had Tony Todd for the voice.
Oh,
Holy
perfect.
shit. Holy shit.
He's
They
he's
just
he's the candy
Venom
man.
himself. Yeah, Venom himself they did great. I had no issue with Venom. It's just Peter dude, he was such a piece of shit, bro. Like
That's how he's supposed
holy
to be
shit.
though with the
Holy
symbiote.
shit. Yeah, yeah. I knew I knew going in, okay, they're gonna do the whole symbiote thing. But this dude,
Like
we were talking about a part where um, Peter's talking. He's going back. So Peter's had the suit for a while, and Harry is dying without it because he needs the suit. And Harry's like, "Hey, Peter, I'm dying. Can you bring the suit back?" And Peter's like, "We can find another cure for you. It's whatever. I need it more."
and then they
And
actually
Harry's
go and
like,
talk in person.
and Harry's like, "Okay," like he's like, "Okay," like, and then
It's like your Mario skits.
and Peter. So Peter and MJ go to meet Harry, and this dude is like looking like a zombie about to die. He's like, Peter, I need the suit, bro. Can I get it back? And Peter's like, Nah, you look good. I'll keep it just a little bit. Why
My
don't you go ahead and pop some more pills, Peter? Harry, you'll be all right.
That
And
was
it's
my
like, dude,
favorite line. It was like, "Why don't you go pop some more pills and think about what you said?" Basically,
like
and I'm just like,
he
"Whoa,
he
that's your
literally says
childhood
this
best
in the
friend."
game. He literally says this. He says, "Why don't you go pop some more pills and fuck off?" And I'm like, dude.
Well, not the fuck off part, but
Yeah, well, yeah, they're like, holy shit, they just went all in with this whole symbiote thing. It's like this guy don't give a fuck. He's talking to MJ like a savage. He's talking to Harry like a savage.
like a lot of people think that like Peter with the symbiote is what Toby Maguire was with the symbiote, but he's worse. And
Dude,
for those that see the cartoon, I wish we had that. I wish Shocker was in it so that we could get the Shocker symbiote Spider-Man chase where he's like, "Shocker, I'm gonna chase you to the end of the earth," and he's like, he could use his webs to chase him, but no, he's running after him. Like imagine an angry Spider-Man in a black suit chasing you, like running at you, and he's running up this the freaking bell tower. It's like
yeah,
it's terrifying, but it's funny at the same time. I wish they could have done that. Um, but yeah,
yeah, but symbiote Peter, man, he was something else. Like when there's a part where Miles is captured by Kraven and Miles's mom is like calling Peter and Peter's like, hello. And she's like, yeah, my son's missing, and he's like, okay. She's like, can you help him? He's like, I'm busy. It's like, dude, holy shit, you don't give a fuck about Miles at all. Like, don't care at all. He's like, whatever, I'll look into it, I guess.
yeah.
Like, she's like sitting here like, Peter, my son is missing. I'm scared. And he's just like, whatever. It's a Thursday. I don't care. Like,
It's like fine, I'll
like,
do it
geez,
myself.
man.
It's
Yeah,
always me, like saving the day or whatever.
yes, that's another. So one other thing I want to talk about before we adjourn. So there's the mission where they have to find Lizard. This is the one we saw in the state of play. They have to find Lizard, and Miles is doing his thing. He's searching for him, and then Peter comes in with the symbiote, and they find Lizard, and they're chasing him through the city, and Kraven's minions are there, and Miles didn't do anything wrong. No one can say Miles did anything wrong. He was helping the whole fucking time. And then right when the lizard escapes, Peter's like, "Oh, well, Miles has been fucking up. He's not doing good. He's messed up, and it's all his fault. Lizard got away." It's like, dude,
Yeah.
I, parts like that made it so good. Um, so this happened. I think this happened. Yeah, this happens before the part where we said we were gonna stop. But it's a little no, it's a little after. But this
A
is
little
where
bit, but it's not that bad.
we will end it. It made it so much better to be Miles and beat the shit out of symbiote Spider-Man for however many health bars he had. I enjoyed that fight. I took so much gratification in beating the shit out of Peter Parker as Miles, dude. You have no idea. The whole time I'm just like fucking sweating on the controller. Like you
Yeah, no,
just you earned this.
that was very hard on spectacular mode. Peter
I
was not
bet.
letting
I
up.
bet. Yeah, I like how you could use the bell to to fuck with his the noise.
How
You
many
know,
times were you able to use that bell?
I used it, dude. I used it as much as I could. I'm not gonna lie.
I was
He
able to
was.
use it maybe twice.
Oh no, I could use it like 12 times maybe.
Must be
When it,
nice because that man, oh my gosh, they must have like increased the amount of time his webs will be on that bell. But
yeah,
he was
well,
aggressive to me,
dude,
like
he was.
shit.
It was good. It was a good fight. It was good. It was a good way to do it in the story. I didn't expect to fight. Well, I don't know. I wasn't expecting to fight Spider-Man versus Spider-Man in the game until it happened, and it was great. It was great. Um, but yeah, so we've been going for a while. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we finish up?
I would
Anything?
like to see what your overall score for this game is.
So as I said, most of the issues I had were not huge. So when I say I do believe, for
Out of
me,
10, sorry.
Spider-Man, yeah, for me, Spider-Man PS4, that game was great. That game is definitely like 9.5 out of 10 for me. Miles Morales would have been maybe a 9 for me. And then I would say this game is would definitely be a 9 as well. A 9 out of 10. I am feeling pretty comfortable about that because there were things that I did not like about it, but they weren't too crazy. And I do think it is better than Miles Morales, but I don't know. Spider-Man PS4, it set so much. It set a standard. And this game, it ran with the standard, but it didn't. There were things that were great, especially the story and the boss battles and the action, but it wasn't like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but emotion wise, I just emotionally loved PS4 more than Spider-Man 2, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It hit me a little bit better. Now, I have to say again, please, I am not saying I did not like this game because I don't want people to be like, "Oh, you fucking shitting on this." No, I've been waiting for this game for the longest time, like everybody else. You know, I was there at midnight, I was playing it, I was enjoying it. It's just no game is perfect, and everyone is not gonna like everything. And I think that's what gamers don't understand these days. If you disagree with someone, immediately you have to hate each other, and it's like, no,
No.
nothing is perfect. No game is the absolute best ever. People aren't gonna. We're not a hive mind, you know. We can have things we like, we don't like. Like,
Yeah. Like so for me, oh, GeForce is telling me there's a driver available. Cool. Anyway, um, my rating. Okay, so first game PS4 Spider-Man. I would say I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10.
yeah,
Miles Morales, I'd give it a 9. Spider-Man
yeah,
PS5, I would give a 10 out of 10.
really.
Like no, like the remastered Spider-Man PS5
Oh, okay, okay,
with the
gotcha.
because I found the new face, it added more emotion to it. Spider-Man 2, I would say is a 9.5.
Okay, okay. So that's good. I thought you were gonna give this game a 10,
No,
just because I thought
I
you
won't
were.
give it a I won't give it a
I
10.
I was beginning
Um,
to think you were a little on cloud nine still, like the honeymoon phase
no,
was
no,
still
no.
there, but it's good that
I'll
you
give it
think.
a 9.5, but the first game is a 10 out of 10. But so the first game was a 10 out of 10, but when the PS5 version of that came out, the PS4 became a 9.5 in my opinion, and then the
Yeah, cause
PS5 became a 10 out of 10 because it
yeah.
was updated. It ran, it's way smoother, it has a better face for it, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
so yeah,
definitely.
that's why I would say the PS5 one is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely understand that, and I definitely do agree. And no matter what game you think is best, anybody who plays these games, I will be hard pressed to find one person who could play these games and not have fun. Like
Yeah,
the point of the games is to have fun and to have a good time. I think Insomniac nailed this. These are definitively the perfect Spider-Man games, period, of all time. There's nothing that can come close for dealing with Spider-Man. With superhero games in general, these games, when I think best superhero games, I think of course Spider-Man. I think Guardians of the Galaxy. I think the Batman Arkham trilogy. That's it. And these games, I would say, are near the top of that list
why don't you tell
because they
everybody
just
your absolute favorite one, the Marvel's Avengers?
are you, dude. Look, you just this video is gonna be demonetized now immediately because you even spoke about the devil's name. No, that dude, that woo, that's a whole nother rodeo for another day. Oh man.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but yeah, it's basically anybody can enjoy these games. If people are I'll just say it. People who talk shit about these games either haven't played them or they have an agenda because they don't like PlayStation and they don't want to admit that PlayStation can have good games. So they just want to dick ride and troll and say, oh, everything is bad. No. If you haven't even played the game, you can't talk. If you're just doing it just because you want to be a hater, I don't care. These games are fucking great. Every console has a game that's great, even fucking Xbox and PC. Like, why do we have to act like good games are not good just because we're trying to push an agenda, you know?
these people are very critical.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. Unless it's deserved criticism, it's just ridiculous. Like, just let people have some things people can have, and we don't need to be assholes about it. But that's a whole nother fucking discussion.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, we have been going for a long time. I know you got to get going today.
well, there you guys have it. That is our review and our hot take and our deep dive of Spider-Man 2. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, let me know in the comments, and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.